The new science curriculum has benefited and enhanced the science program at Laingsburg Elementary significantly. Students have been engaged in many hands-on learning activities now that they have access to a wide variety of materials. Each grade level was provided a science kit dealing with life science, earth science, and physical science. Each kit came with trade books that support the informational aspect of several of the lessons, along with the supplies and materials needed for demonstrations and hands-on laboratory experiences. This curriculum has gotten students more involved and engaged in the learning process, which in turn will raise student achievement scores. I would like to thank LEAF for their contributions, because this has really helped out our elementary science program.
And they have a physics and flight program, and we learned about it when we went to a science conference. Mr. Bergman and Mr. Woodworth and I last spring. They bring these birds out to different programs at schools and learn about the birds, teach kids about the birds. Well, the one that we're doing is called Physics and Flight, where the calculus and the physics classes will actually measure the flight path of the birds and calculate the velocity and all sorts of stuff that, you know, we do in physics classes and calculus classes.
Cost wasn't too much, but LEAF covered that as well, so that was really nice. So now the kids, you know, they get all the materials, they get all the stuff and everything for free, which is really nice, because then nobody whatsoever is left out because of lack of funds. So that was nice. How to sit, how to hold the instrument and all that kind of stuff. My fifth graders had already learned all that, so we kind of skipped to some of the other things. This is a three-part song that they sing called Come to Play, that was composed for this program by the same composer wrote this song called To Make Words Sing, and they sing the first part and then they play the recorders in the middle, and then they go back and sing the last part. So they're really getting into it now. This is a listening map. It's basically pictures depicting what you're hearing, basically. So the different instruments that you're going to hear, how loud they are when they come in, what's happening in the music. This is the bridge in the music, so it's literally a bridge in the picture, and it comes around, and this depicts the story of the Firebird Suite by Stravinsky. We'll play a couple of songs with the ukuleles and sing with the ukuleles, and then we'll also do some of the stuff that we're going to do with the Lansing Symphony, and then of course our recorder program, which we have normally. So thankful for the LEAF buying us a set of classroom ukuleles, and for the ukuleles done much individual stuff, but we learn as a class on the ukulele. In this program, which is really nice, they have their own book to take home and study in, and their own workbook to do exercises with. The orchestra sings. We've been concentrating on the orchestra sings right now, but we're going to pull the ukuleles back out here probably starting next week to look at to get it, refresh that, and learn, get our songs ready for the concerts. So the kids find the ukuleles, some of them absolutely love it. Some of them actually went out and bought their own because of that. They do find it challenging, which is kind of a good thing. It's a lot of fun. The kids are having a good time with that. It's a really great program.
Okay, at the zoo we had the wonderful opportunity to have docents with outreach animals that we were able to interact with. Today we talked about adaptation, so we got to actually see a number of different species of mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and how they have adapted to live in their environment, which is really cool because we had some reinforcement with that, different lessons talking about food chains and energy webs, and environment, and why biodiversity, or diverse biodiversity, is really important. Even throw in some kids who are like, oh, it's not a connection. It's great to see kids making connections between one lesson and the next when we didn't explicitly put it together, and they made connections. One of those was, we talked about extinction and the black-footed ferret in America. America's an endangered, almost extinct. And why? Because it ate the prairie hog, or prairie dog, which was eaten or killed off by farmers and ranchers. Kids are like, oh, wait a minute, that's a food chain. If your food is gone, you have nothing to eat. If you don't adapt, you die. So it's cool to see kids making connections that we didn't necessarily plan on, and to see that in action. So that was awesome.
Our kids had an awesome opportunity to go to Hunters Park Zoo for a 2-day enrichment program as a result from the LEAF program that Mr. Meyer had written a grant on. So it's a wonderful program. Today we talked about adaptation, and with the snow and the rain and all that, and you can see we were just, you know, we had to adapt to the weather, but the kids loved it. They went outside and they did a lot. They learned about the different types of adaptations, mimicry. We talked about migration. We talked about nocturnal animals, and then we've also talked about the food web. So the kids are getting a real enrichment, kind of an enrichment program outside of the classroom and there at the zoo. So it's overall, and there's wonderful docents. You get a lot of education from the zoo itself, and also the teacher-led program. So every one of the children that we took enjoyed it. The parents that were there really enjoyed it as well. So I just think it's a wonderful program that the kids you can take your classroom and you can actually just pick it up and move it there for 2 days and as a mini zoo lesson, or you can go for a whole week, which is the big zoo lesson, and just go there and the kids can learn in a different environment. You know, so I just think we don't offer as much enrichment as we did in the past, so I think having just the 2 days, and it really broadens the kids, just sparks their interest in maybe in the science fields and even in writing with the journaling that we do. So it was a great program. We really enjoyed it.
My favorite part about the whole trip was at the end of today when we got to see how the animals adapted to their environment, like using camouflages and types of places that they places that they used to live, and getting to see like pelts and discovering like skulls.
Well, the robotics class is structured as more of a project-based, so students can work at their own speed, so they'll learn a few commands, or robot programming commands, and then they'll apply it to an actual programming challenge that they're going to work on. And the more advanced students, or the students that really enjoy the programming, can kind of move forward with newer challenges, and the students that need a little extra help can take their time and make sure that they understand before moving on. We're going to build bigger, more robust robots and have more challenges where we can pick things up, move them around, maybe throw some things. There's a lot of different sensors involved. And I guess eventually futuristic potential with this class is that there's a FIRST robotics kind of league out there where you can get a team together, build robots, and go and compete in competitions. That would be kind of the ultimate high-end goal, but this is a very good beginning. Well, the programming class in general gives the students an idea of what they could possibly see out in the real world. There's all kinds of robots that need to be actually programmed. There's companies that their entire job is to have robots go into, for example, car manufacturing. Those have to be programmed. Those don't actually get programmed at General Motors. There's companies that build the robots and get the robots kind of set up to do the programming. So from a real life standpoint, it gives students at least an idea of what might be out there. And a lot of times programming is more of a technical degree now. It's not even something you have to go to school for 4 years for. You can get like a 2-year technical degree just in programming. So I think it brings in all kinds of different students and their interests and gives them opportunity to actually see what might be out there, something they might enjoy doing after high school.